indisputable truth and the arati, the unshakable facts,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
right? So we come, we teach, they learn, and they awaken. The great mother going back on her feet.
Yep.
Ain't
One
no
way or
doubt
the other.
about it. One way or
One way or
another,
the other.
by hook or by
Yeah.
crook, we will
By any
burn this
means
mother
necessary.
down if she ain't getting what's hers. My mama said, "Don't let nobody take nothing from my sisters and my brothers." And I
Yeah, Big
seen that
Mama put in place.
my sister's planet was being held hostage. So I had to find out who did it, how they did it, why they did it, where they done it at, right? And then I had to reverse it, turn that shit around on their ass, telling the people step by step, this is what they did, so we had to do this. So under the Indigenous Rights Act, knowing that I'm organic to the land with the blood and the rights, I canceled their contracts because Big Mama told me to. She told me to get the imposters off the land. Then I got the message from mothers all across the land that's telling me the same thing, right? And it culminates in the dream when I'm called by three kings, three
Go
sky
ahead.
chiefs.
Go
And the
ahead.
three sky chiefs is the three high chiefs that called the low chief to come up to the top and do some work.
Go ahead.
They call it sheep dipping in military science, taking
Okay.
a
Go ahead.
person from their specialty but using them where you need them in the time of war. Big Mama told him, y'all gonna keep pushing him to the side, but you're gonna need him sooner or later. And here I am.
Yeah.
I didn't gripe, bicker, complain. I just laid down my motherfucking hand and told the truth.
No,
Standing in
Big Bump.
position to right, letting thunder fly. So prepare for what y'all about to see because we almost to the grand finale now. We can go to Q&A from here, Elder.
Hey man, people said they don't really got no questions. You done cracked heads and twist caps and put niggas in the comas, man. With this every time, like every little piece, it's just you steady building onto this building. I'm calling it the Roy Hayes building, right? I believe, hey Roy, I believe you one of the last masters I supposed to sit with. I supposed to sit with you to get this part. You one of the last masters. Now it's a like I'm on a whole nother level now with all the shit you've been giving me. I'm
Man,
on a whole nother level.
I can't wait to sit and talk to Malachi and Farrakhan, Larry Hoover, Jeff Ford at the same time. Man, can you
Man, now
imagine that
that's going
conversation?
man, I give my
I'll be in
whole check to see that.
conversation on heaven.
I'll give my whole check to see that
I'll
shit.
be
That's
in
gonna be
conversation on heaven.
man, man, you got hey, them boys will be so spooked out about that. Them alphabet boys, they'll be man. You remember I saw a video with I think it was Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. They went in the back room and talked, and then they came back out and they was asking them, "What did y'all talk about?" And they said, "Oh, we ain't telling
That
y'all.
was
We
Muhammad
talked
Ali.
about Muhammad Ali.
That was
Yeah, it was
Muhammad
Muhammad
Ali.
Ali. Yeah, that was Muhammad Ali. That was fire." I say
Yeah,
Muhammad.
he's like, when your president go in and talk to Khrushchev, we don't ask you what y'all was talking about in there.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
When you want
yeah.
to ask us?
See, yeah. See, they what what they messed up though. They stopped us from that when they started watching us, with the COINTEL Pro and everything. So when we started meeting up, they watch us. But now they cause a bigger. It's everything is spreading a bigger way now. It's like all we got to do is get the minds to agree and overseeing what you saying, and all we gotta do is think it. Once we start thinking on this frequency, the big mama energy, this shoe tough nut resonance, once we start thinking on that level, everything fall into place mentally first, and then everything else go into place. Once we got our mind together on what everything you saying, with everything that they ancestors been teaching. Once we got our mind on that, we're gonna be that's what gonna make us win right then. We already won though. I feel like we already at the last about to cross through the ropes and break the rope for the finish line, man. We right there, bro. Now all we doing
Mm-hmm.
now is removing the parasites. Removing the parasites. It's what Trump was
Nothing
everybody we
personal.
yeah, just get rid of the parasites. That's it.
Yeah,
The
nothing
ones that was
personal.
feeding off of us. Hmm. Man, so everybody's saying this right here was fire, man. It says, can you tell Raw I had a dream about him? We were talking in my mama's living room and a big bald eagle landed on his shoulder. Can you ask him what does that mean? What was that about?
Which shoulder?
Hey, which shoulder was it? That was Ja. Which shoulder was it? Was it Ja Mira? Mira. Oh yeah,
So the
AW
bald
Chief. He
eagle is
Chief, man. Go ahead.
yeah, the birds of prey
Right shoulder.
represent different. Okay, birds of prey represent different types of chiefs, and the bald eagle is the high chief's symbol. So the right shoulder is so the bird land on the right shoulder. That's where my totem symbol is, telling me that the chief is coming in off the right in order to get my attention. When you say coming in off the right, that means coming in righteously. So it's a return to the ancient ways.
That's
I
fire.
used to see elders in horseback. When I close my eyes, they be standing there on horseback looking, and I hope my what the hell? What?
Yeah.
But they was just reminding me of my responsibilities and my duties. My
I'm
discovery make me obligated to the collective clans to tell the people what was done to us to undermine the great mother and take her from her position on the land. So when you understand um, ritual magic, then you get to see the magic that was done, the curses that was laid upon us to keep us from ever getting free. But remember, it said that the first should be made last and the last shall be made first, right? But the first still got to come back to the front because they the only ones that's going to be able to fix it. So those which was the last became the first under the white man's burden through the Catholic Church being the enforcement arm in the kingdoms of the Babylonian Empire, which trace us back to the doctrines of Enlil's sons, Ninner sin, which is the law of sin, which is the blood rights, the sex magic, and the money magic. And then it takes us to his other son, who was his general, that was using the chemical warfare. We talking Marduk,
yeah.
right? And the chemical warfare came in the forms of strange diseases that had never been seen on Earth before. And that's what they was giving us with smallpox laced blankets.
For all the information and everything that you give out. I have some questions. I wrote it down.
All right, let's go. Let's get some black girl magic learning up in here.
Okay, so my first question is about human emotion and the release of it. Is that a normal thing as one continues on through their ascension process? Because I find myself like when things happen, like in the news, like I hear about something happening, let's just say, right? And I'm all like, my first thought is like, damn, what did they do in the past life that that they going through this? So it's not necessarily, oh my God, the kids, oh my God, what happened to them? It's more like, what is your soul trying to learn? So is that a natural thing that's supposed to happen, or am I just like going too far deep into it with losing the human?
So you looking at it from a multi lifetime event, culminating with the event you're observing, because you tying it to their karmic debt. You sensing that somebody is getting exactly what they was asking for.
And I always tie it back to we ask, or we, how can I put it? Everything that is like we ask to go through that process. So it's just basically taking responsibility for the things that happen to us or through us and the experiences that we go through. So, okay.
Yeah, so some of those events are exaggeration
Mm.
of the event in order to trigger an emotional reaction. If you a natural bullshit detector, it won't work on you.
Mm-hmm.
And it can't draw your sorrows out of you for the event because you can read behind the scenes of something else going on.
Yes.
So DJ Quick got a verse in one of his songs from the 90s saying Columbine ain't nothing new. In Compton, they shoot up schools too.
Yeah.
They cruise through trying to see who's wearing red and who's blue.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't get the international sensational attention drawn to a. But the first victim they're going to show is this little blonde haired, blue eyed girl or boy that was so fucking cute as a button. Yeah, so all of those are rituals. The sensationalism of the tells you where they want your attention focused at. It's the David Copperfield finna make an elephant disappear. It's on the marquee. The great illusionist, David Copperfield, makes elephant disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we get ready to go into the doors. Everybody's saying before they go in there, I'm going to see the trick. So they already know by reading the sign, it's an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't finna make no fucking elephant disappear. But he gonna make it look like the elephant disappeared. So now everybody swear they not gonna get tricked. And then the curtain come down and the elephant fucking gone. Where'd he go? I thought you said he wasn't gonna trick your dumb ass. So one of the 6 senses of a female when she becomes a mother, she becomes a human bullshit detector because it's a defense mechanism to protect her children from people with bullshit on their mind.
Mm-hmm.
She get a sensation in the pit of her stomach, and then she asks herself, what the fuck is that? And then she hear the voice of her big mama say, don't trust that nigga around your kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing when you see these sensationalized events. Why you don't respond the way they want you to, because your mama's senses is turned on. And you know, every one of these kids is classified as bipolar under the care of a psychiatrist or psychologist. Anybody study MK Ultra know that they do sleeper soldiers and they narcotize them in studies, and they found it was the most effective sleeper agents to activate.
Mm-hmm.
That's all MK Ultra information from the 50s. And they running the shit on us in the 90s and the 2000s. Right? So then they can send their sleeper cells to do the dirt. It's a false flag event, but people really got hurt.
Yeah.
So then they sensationalize it in order to draw your attention away from the elephant they about to make not disappear.
Mm-hmm.
That way you can't see where your shit at.
That's deep. Well, another thing I wanted to ask you was about one of your laws. You said that, or you call yourself Thoth or Tahuti. So I was like, why aren't y'all asking him about what he wrote down? So one of your biggest things that you wrote down that boggles my mind is all truths or but half truths.
Because most people take sides. You can't see the whole problem. There's 2 sides to it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't see both sides, you can't see the whole truth.
But I'm taking it or I guess I'm looking at it wrong, because I'm looking for like an absolute truth. And so when I hear all truths are but half truths, I'm all like, I can't make it absolute,
Right.
because it's only half of, you know.
And the maxim of Thoth says that you are the only absolute, the source from which you came. All other things is one side or the other of a reflection of that absolute truth. The balance is the only way to see both halves of the half truths, the dark side and the light side, the left hand path and the right hand path.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to remain on the straight and narrow. When you follow what's in your heart, you can see that the half truth, what the other half is. So that's why all things are but half truths. It's like Noble Drew Ali said it. He said, man, is truth and falsehood strangely mixed. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Reality is based on the manifestation of the thing that doesn't really exist. Everything we see in the 3D world ain't nothing but a conglomeration of atoms.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't really there.
So this goes back to the concept of this reality being all mental. It's basically
it's a mental projection from a group of gods to create a holographic reality. The layout is Metatron's cube.
Okay, which is a square.
It's the star of life.
Okay.
The 6-point star in the circle, but it's really the star of life. It's two pyramids interlocking with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the holographic imagery that begins the foundation to build on. Now, we're creating a hologram, but the collective of the gods have to agree to maintain the hologram. So these are what we call the 4 pillars of the earth, which is the 4 great gods of the earth, which is Isis, Osiris, Tahuti, and Ra. Right? So the great mother and the great father raised the wise son, right, to reflect the great father Ra. As a son on earth, we produce as the sky, mother creator, Big Mama, produce as the center of the solar system. Right? So the gods collectively hold the hologram in place. And then when the hologram comes into disorder, then the gods manifest in human form to inform the humans of how to restore order. When they get the message has to reach critical mass of the chosen ones to redeem the clans and to make everything reverse back. It's a reset.
Is this happening like, is this what we would call the epoch?
Yeah.
So every 24,000 years, it resets over? Okay, that's what I was thinking.
And that's why in the book of Thoth it said, I won't be back for some thousands of years.
Yeah, okay, cool. One thing I was noticing is when I was meditating one time, I came up out of meditation and I wasn't using my third eye. I was using these 2 eyes, and I saw the number 3, and it was going down, like looking like how the matrix is set up, that green line stuff. Was I seeing the code? The streamer? I was actually seeing the code of the room that I was in? Okay.
Well, you were seeing the streamer. The streamer was answering something that you put in the energy field. You were psychic sensitive.
Yeah, I figured that.
But you haven't trained your senses.
No.
So when your answers come, you can't translate them. You feel what they mean, but you can't explain it.
Yeah. And it just happened randomly too. Like one day I was just looking at TV. I wasn't even meditating. I looked off to the side and it looked like it was a projector screen, and it was just floating in midair, and I could see what somebody was doing. I could see them talking to the people in their house. I could see that they were looking at TV, the computer, and all this other stuff, but they couldn't see me. Just, you know, what the heck? But it has been so much.
You know, Instagram, the bullshit, y'all.
Am I asking the wrong questions? Have we fought in this war many times?
This war is a long, protracted struggle, but it's only been during this 24,000-year cycle has it been hostile.
Okay. Okay. Is this do we have many agendas when we come down here for like soul growth, doing shadow work, and a whole bunch of other stuff mixed up together?
Yeah.
Okay.
So all of that is what you call your book of life.
Okay. Okay.
Your book of life is your DNA code, right? And by learning who you are and learning to trust and believe in yourself and love yourself, it starts revealing the blueprint in real time, and you reading it as it's happening. This is in my book of life, right? Right.
Yeah.
In your book of life, you have what's called fail safes. You know when they say when the student is ready, the teacher will come?
Yes.
Right. Well, while the student is taking the test, the teacher is quiet. Right? So if you're not stuck, there's no need to communicate with the teacher. You got to do your work.
It still feels lonely though.
That's because you're searching in your heart for your path. That sensation of loneliness comes from being drawn to your path, because can't nobody walk it but you. So the being alone becomes the rule to develop where you want to go.
Right.
That's where you map out your best life scenario. That's where you get to read the final chapter in your book of life for this earth realm. And then you work towards the end from where you at. You fill in the gap. That's part of the learning to love yourself, because while you're looking for validation to relieve the loneliness externally, you can't never validate yourself to be whole, so that it'll automatically attract what you need, and the loneliness won't come into play.
Okay. One more question. I've been having like this feeling, I think it's because of my natal chart. I have a more humanitarian type of vibe going on. And when this new earth happens, what's going to happen to those that don't make it? Are they going to be in like a waiting state and before they're able to incarnate back on here? But it's not going to be a 3D realm. It's going to be a 5D realm, right?
It's going to still look the same.
Oh, okay.
But technologically, it won't be the same.
Yes. And bodies will be different. These avatars will be different as well, right?
They're going to alter over time.
2060 keep coming up for me. I keep getting like completion. I don't know what that means. So just putting that out there. Thank you so much, Rod, for everything.
Okay, you're welcome, sweetie.
Okay. Bye.
So she was talking about the self-work aspects and learning who you is. The goal is to learn how to read your book of life, and then you can follow the pattern to your best life with the least amount of resistance. But if you don't read it, you're going to bump into every obstacle till you get down the right path. So you're gonna either walk the road blindly, or you're gonna open up the path and walk the road and with your eyes wide open, even when they shut, because you have a plan, right? So old saying, those who fail to plan has planned to fail, because you're gonna have a plan whether you develop it or not, right? So when you put all of this shit together, we get a whole nother level of understanding and growth from a spiritual perspective to aid in the overall development of the human. So we going into uncharted territory. So the genetics is a motherfucker, and inviting the right species to complement the DNA in order to correct the birth defect anomalies to prevent people from ascending and balancing these energies. Whew, that's some testy shit. Okay, I got 5 questions. The last new moon of the year, the people who do moon magic would already know what to do for that. If you're not into moon magic, then to spontaneously do the rituals without the training probably won't make much sense. So the problem with the children that's prone to suicide is they going through transitional phases, and nobody told them that the shit's supposed to get hard, so they're not prepared for it. So they drop out of class, basically, is what the suicide is. The Grand Canyon is not connected to Arizona by geography. It's connected by a stargate. There was a stargate in Arizona that came out in Cairo by the pyramid complex. We in Atlantis, Lemuria, a whole different landmass is no longer present. It's under the ice in Antarctica. Shangri-La, I'm not too versed on that one. Listen, there is no philosopher or scholar that existed in the BC period and early AD period that didn't finish their master studies up in Alexandria.
That's right. Go ahead. Hey, this right here book look fire too. The ancient ancient...
This is a collection of 5 or 6 books, maybe 7.
Hey, go ahead, Roy. You got another book you want me to pull up before we go to the next one? While we up in this?
Yeah, you might as well pull up the Holy Science.
Okay, the Holy Science.
So in here he gives you a blueprint of the collective conscious, and when you meditate, how to move through the unconscious. See the man with the beard in the first picture?
Yeah. Damn, bro. How you be knowing all these damn books, bro? You got more books in your head than the damn library, bro.
All sleeping quarters.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the Longhouse of War. That would have been the Gullah Geechee Big Mama that called us over here. She would have had the tribesmen come in and build this longhouse so that we have sleeping quarters at the war.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So we would have had the longhouse, then we would have had the red house would have been for the daughters, and the blue house would have been for the sons. This is how you get your different rites of passage. Then you had babies that was too young to live with the boys, and they stayed extra time in the red house. That became the sons of the red house.
Okay.
These are all traditions around the world that were usurped and organized under ritual rites of secret societies. When you know your culture, when you read it back to the people, they understand what's going on the land. Right? So the Iroquois Constitution was the codified oral speeches that somebody overheard and wrote them down in a longhouse meeting. And that's how they end up with a constitution. The reason the Constitution worked because it was a blood right oath.
Okay.
And the blood right tied us to the George Washington challenge because the Constitution, the original Constitution, was taken away and rewritten in the blood of a guy named Crispus Attucks. Type him in.
All right, Crispus Attucks.
Yep, Crispus Attucks.
They spell that last name Attucks.
You gotta spell his first name and last name will pop up. P-U-S, C-R-I-S-P-U-S.
I got you.
Yeah, there you go.
What?
First one. That one.
A Nubian brother.
You see the one right there with the writing on it to tell you a little bit about him? Yeah.
Yeah, free black man living in Boston.
Blow that up.
All right, let me see. Can I blow it up for you? Can't go for that free black man joint no more, man. They hustle on. That's their hustle game. Yeah, free black man living in Boston during the time of Boston massacre. Possible descendant of the Wampanoag Indians, and yeah, you know, we know he a descendant. Ain't no possible. They burning their game, and the African American slaves were referred in the Martin Luther King Jr.'s 1964 speech. Died instantly from a bullet at the Boston massacre. You know, that was a setup, Rod. Go ahead.
Now remember,
that was a setup.
I told you this who blood the Constitution was written in.
Instantly at a massacre. Go ahead.
You hear me? This is whose blood the original. Yeah, the Constitution was written in his blood. That's why we couldn't break it. That's why it took us so long to break it, because they used the blood of the righteous to write the contract. Notice he the first person killed.
Go ahead, man.
They using Babylonian blood magic. Right. And they wrote the Constitution in his blood. This is what make us have to go into the conjure war, because now we locked into the contract that they call the Constitution. Type in original Constitution.
That's crazy, bro. That's good stuff right here, bro.
It's in the George Washington Memorial, I believe. Your mitochondrial frequency is putting more energy into your DNA, which is making your auric field expand out further than it normally would. You're moving into what you call your matriarchal position now, which is a high mother's seat. Right, so your mother instincts are sharp, keen, and you protective of the children, and these are the things that's driving your mitochondria to continuously expand this energy into the DNA. When this happens, your chakras, right? Your chakras are gotta have to be aligned. If they don't, then the harmony is in disarray. Once you start aligning the chakras, it plays a beautiful musical symphony. The songs are the spheres, which is all chakras playing in harmony together. And it's a combination of grounding, spiritual baths, and cleanses. And you got the cleanses out the way. So now you just at the spiritual baths and the grounding and the me time. You got to have your me time. Because that's where you start to reorganize all of that stuff in your me time.
Okay.
I appreciate the call, sis.
Get thanks. Peace,
All right,
peace.
thank you. Peace,
All right.
peace. All right, let's get to the next caller. Let's get to Miko. Miko. What's up, Miko? You got a question? Yeah.
You live on stage, girl.
Miko. I don't think she knows.
She
I
must
can't
got
hear
a-
you. I can't hear you.
Are you on mute?
I can't hear you. It's her computer. She's not on mute on my end. We can't hear you, Miko. Yeah, Miko, we can't hear you. All right, Miko, I'm gonna have to let you go. Let me see if she.
Nope. She
Yeah.
probably don't have a microphone on the computer.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Go to the next caller.
Taze.
Hi, nice to meet both. My
Peace,
name is
peace. What's your, how you say your name?
Thais.
Thais. All right. What's your question, Thais?
So everyone has a very different opinion on this, but I just want to hear your take on it, Rod Hayes, because you're an extremely smart person. So I just want to hear what you have to say. So what time frame would you say like you should have like your gold, your land, and all your like stuff in order by? Because I'm like in the process of getting my stuff in order, but I want to know like I like knowing different people's perspectives, if that makes sense.
You mean for your personal life path? At what age should you have all your goals accomplished or met? Or
Yeah.
so that's individual by individual. First off, because your goals are not my goals. My goals are not your goals. And you set your goals based on the ability you have to achieve it now, or what do you have to learn in order to be good at whatever it is that's going to allow you to accomplish your goal. If I wanted to be the heavyweight champion in the world, I should have started training 50 years ago, 40 years ago when I was 10, right? But I didn't train to be the heavyweight champion in the world then. So that was an unrealistic goal if I had it at 10 years old, or it was a dream, a fantasy, right? Anything that you get, whatever your goal is, you have to do what's called a self-evaluation. Where am I at right now in accomplishing this goal? Right? What do I know about it? I want to be a hair tech, but I ain't never did hair a day in my life. Well, the first thing I need to do is find somewhere where somebody can teach me the basics of doing hair. Right? Because I can't set a goal to be a hair tech with my own salon and I can't do hair. I can get the salon, but I wanted to be the tech that's doing it. I can't participate in. That's an unrealistic expectation. And so that wouldn't be a good goal. But if I set the goal, I know, okay, well, it's going to take me this amount of time to learn how to do this type of hair, right? And then from there, it's going to take me this amount of time to implement a business model that allows me to get to that part where now I've successfully become a nail tech with my own salon, right? So it becomes your ability to map and plot your program determines when it's the attainability of the goal. If you want to be a doctor, the earlier you start studying medicine, the better, right? So my nephew was 6, told me he wanted to be a doctor. Told me when he was 8, I sent him a Merck manual of medicine, and I sent him a medical encyclopedic dictionary. He needed to know the language, and he needed to know what they're using to treat what. Then later on, I could send him something on homeopathy to start steering him toward a naturopathic physician's mindset, because there's a herb for every ailment of the body. You know, so your goals are contingent upon your preparation and your deadlines. How well will you be in plotting your path? It's individual by individual.
I appreciate your call, sis.
Thank you.
All right, peace. All right. Let's get to another one. Our connection seems to be
Don't say nothing. Just keep doing what we doing.
just keep going what we doing. Let's get to Candy Kane. What's good, Candy Kane? You got a question for Rod Hayes?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm hearing a delay. I'm hearing more than one.
You sound
I'm
muffled.
hearing two voices at one
Is
time.
your microphone covered up or something on your phone?
We can't hear you.
I do. So, hi, how you doing? How do you overcome your fears? Like earlier you spoke about fear.
Nah, yeah, can't hear you good.
It's not. Can you hear me now?
It's
Like it's a delay.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
so you asked for strategies on how to overcome fears, right?
Yes, and how do you spiritually protect yourself?
Okay, so spiritual protection falls under the category of psychic self-defense. There's a lot of different ways you can do that. The basics of spiritual baths and grounding are the most basic forms of psychic self-defense you can do. The next things that you need to learn how to do is take spiritual baths to clean your spiritual self, just like you do your physical self. You learn all this stuff, and it helps you to be able to develop psychic self-defense until you start learning other methods. Like, you got candle magic for defense, incense magic, you have oil magic, you have Florida water magic. There are all these different forms of protections that you can use. Crystal magic is one of the best, and protection stones. So you studying things spiritually to help you protect yourself spiritually, right? So it falls under psychic self-defense. Protect the mind, protect the spirit.
indeed. All right, so yeah, I appreciate everybody for calling in tonight. You want to do one more, Rob? What you think, or you want to?
Yeah, let's keep going. Let's see if we can get a couple more in.
All right, let's keep it moving. Let's go to brother Troy Benz.
Yes, thank you.
Troy Benz.
Peace, brother. Peace to both of
Peace,
y'all.
What's
peace.
that?
I've been waiting.
All
Thank
right.
you, Rich, for what you're doing, and Rod for being the truth. I've heard this channel speak on this subject a couple of times. I was just wondering if you could expound on how, if you have a separation from your physical family, I think it was Sister Myra Moss that said you become closer with your spiritual family. Is that true, especially when you start stepping closer to the truth?
Okay, sometimes your physical family is your spiritual family, and sometimes you born into a family where you a lone wolf.
Yeah. Mm.
Even the lone wolf at some point in his life is going to form a pack. The only difference between the lone wolf is called a Zeta wolf. And the difference between him and a regular alpha is everybody on his team is carefully selected. You don't want nobody that ain't like him. So there's normally later in life, they normally live 2 or 3 years longer than a regular wolf pack. And they normally have a stronger pack while they're functional, but the pack have a tendency to break apart because that trait is pronounced in the alphas to become zetas. To become the lone wolf, then that's because they have the drive to form their own pack and to be the leader of their own crew, their own clan. This how you have high chiefs, then you got scout chiefs, you got local chiefs, and then you got national chiefs. That's the easiest way for me to explain it. Like all of the chiefs on the land know, even if you don't know they chiefs, you know who Tukey is, you know who Larry Hoover is, you know who Angel Bay is. We all know who they is. Right? And out of the despised and rejected, they the most loved and most respected. Right? And that's us. That's how we know how to find us in the darkness.
Hey, Troy, I appreciate your question, my brother.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
All right, peace. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's get to Bruja, the truth.
What's going on, girl?
Hey, you guys, how are you? Finally, I get to talk to you. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, it's kind of loud,
Very
but I
good.
can.
Yeah, I do apologize. 1 second. So, I was watching the forum and kind of going, well, I don't have like a lot of questions. I'm glad a lot of people's things are being fulfilled, but I actually did find one thus far. I've been very privileged to have some amazing intuition and what I thought when I was walking my Christian walk, what was prophetic skills. I mean, they still are. And the universe just has a way of delivering things. So my biggest question is, because it was presented to me in the beginning of my walk, tarot cards. And I had a young lady that talked to who also experienced a very similar thing. And she kind of had some questions and doubts based on what we were told about them and how it was delivered to us. And I have them and I've utilized them in the proper way and always made sure to meditate and do the things that were necessary. I've never gotten negative results, but I know that reading people and doing readings is it's a gift. And so I wanted to know where tarot cards fell for us in that particular instance.
Well, when I'm talking to the chiefs, only the ones that come from priest lands do I recommend oracle reading. But tarot cards was created by Tahuti to learn the language for you to remote view and scroll creation. It's just a training set. You already have the skill. You just need a tool to help you train. Bodybuilders don't carry the weights on the stage with them. They just carry the result, right? Well, when you doing tarot readings, you just got somebody in the gym. Because sooner or later, the card's just going to be there just to be sitting on the table while you're talking.
Deep.
You know, that's just training wheels. The runes, the same thing. The I Ching, the cowrie shells, the entrails, those are just training wheels to look at the imprint that nature has on things and see it as a message as opposed to something to fear. And most of these things are barred from us by a barrier of fear, by demonizing and villainizing them. I just got a new deck and I'm waiting on the deck to come in the mail.
I got 3 decks in 1 week. they dropped in my lap 3 decks in 1 week, and one is probably is almost as old as me. It's almost 40. That deck is almost 40 years old, and it came from the universe. I'm not going to say seemingly nowhere, but it was presented to me, and I was kind of like at first shied away, and then a few practices, but I wasn't sure quite where that was in my walk. But it fit niche wise. I just want to make sure it was well within the process of things. Thank you so much, you guys.
All right, I appreciate you. Oh, pieces. All right, let's get
to it. Look, everything that we use to develop our higher consciousness, they turned it into some evil.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So that keep you from, you want to be a good, righteous individual. I ain't give a fuck, but you want to be a good, righteous individual. So you trying to do everything that the belief system you fall in says is right and righteous. And it puts the barrier of fear in a position where if you're trying to be righteous, you don't even want to look over there. That's called getting stuck to the right. You can't even find out if you're getting the truth because you're so busy trying to be righteous. You overcompensating for the right. Right. You stuck to the right. That's how you get deceived being righteous. You can be righteous.
This right here with nigga with Lil Pump. Yeah. So he, and then not to mention he pardoned Kodak Black. I don't know what that was about. And Kodak Black must have, he pardoned Kodak Black, Lil Wayne, a couple more other guys, man, in the rap game.
Look, y'all gonna sleep on Kodak Black. Kodak Black his family's totem is the black bear.
Okay.
And they little, they ferocious, and they smart.
like a koala
Don't
bear.
sleep on Kodak Black. Don't sleep on Kodak Black, cause talk a little like this here. You don't really know what a nigga be saying. Kodak Black up in you.
Yeah.
Man, don't pay that country boys, man. We find a way to always seem dumber than our mark. That's always gonna keep us in the position of outsmarting the motherfuckers that thought they were smart.
Yeah.
Because they underestimate our intelligence. Because we have a country slang, a country drawl, right? But this is why my parents, one of my things my father said to me, he said we had to move you to the city so you didn't talk with that country drawl.
Okay, go ahead.
Right? He said, because people tend to think that you ignorant if you talk with the country drawl. So I decided to add colorful epithets because that's a family tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Them F-bombs I be dropping. Right? That's to express the discontent with the politics. Because there's no way that I can stand here and be politically correct when the politics is all wrong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You got to shock consciousness sometimes in order to make people pay attention to the absurdity of the go along, get along dynamic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? So Trump is the reenactment of the JFK. JFK had a whole program that he would have been able to play out had he not been assassinated.
Mm-hmm.
And it was turning the world's military into peacekeeping forces. And instead of going to war with everybody, we would be trying to feed and clothe and shelter as many people as possible. But not just food, clothing, and shelter, develop the area around what the area develops, if you know what I mean. So one of the things that I was going to teach, like in parts of Africa, I was going to teach rabbit farming because you can harvest large quantities of meat in a short turnover time. And you can, you know, do this consistently under the farming conditions to industrialize third world nations. The whole thing is we wanted to use individual farms and not use slaughterhouse networks. That means only feed the people in your area, because that way you can feed on demand. You don't have to just be senselessly killing. Do you know how much of that shit that go to waste every year?
Right. Go ahead.
Right. So they killing thousands and thousands of cows, but only hundreds are being eaten. Right. So this is an offset because most of it go bad one way or another. Either we cook it and don't eat it all. Right. Sometimes we cook it. Sometimes we leave it in the refrigerator too long and it go bad. Sometimes it go bad at the stores. Right. And then they have to get rid of it. Right. So all that's excessive killing that's bringing negative energy to bring the people's senses to this level of savagery is part of the Babylonian blood magic. So that's why all these slaughterhouses is being shut down. So when we going back to the Divine Mother, we know Melania knew how to flip the sands as the first lady. She was mirroring Jackie Onassis. And Jackie Onassis was in office when the mother of the Nation of Islam was Clara Muhammad. That means that the mother of the Nation of Islam today would be Khadija Muhammad. If the mirror is accurate, that would update the Black Madonna data to bring us into a more modern time to determine the accuracy of the information. The only thing we got to verify, as we did this before, is that she got to have a daughter named Madonna in order to claim herself as the Black Madonna, which make her be Khadija, mother of the righteous. Right? So you go on a scavenger hunt. So type in Donna Farrakhan. Let's just see if she got a daughter. Named Donna. Now I'm gonna use my family to fact check this. I'm gonna show you how it worked.
There you go, right there, Rod.
So this is Donna Farrakhan, daughter of the minister Elijah. I mean the minister Farrakhan and mother Khadijah. Right? You see the picture of her right there with the green on, second from where you at.
This one right
now,
here?
remember I told you, no, the one you had just before this.
Right here, right there.
Yeah, that. Now remember, I told you, in order for me to fact check this, it has to match something in my family. I had to be able to do what's called a family flip to verify the information, and then I'll know that I'm accurate. Can you zoom in on this picture?
Man, it's right here. We getting right into it, man. Hold on, can I blow it up? Hold up. Let's see. Dang, I don't want to do that. All right. Oh man. Okay, there. Hold on. Let me try something. Let me blow it up. Oh, right. It won't let me get it no bigger than that, bro. I wonder what's going on.
Well,
let me try this. Skip. All right, hold on, Rod. I'm gonna try something else. Let me try to save it again, but I'm gonna save it in that folder. Save it. Let's save it in that folder right there. Unable to direct it. Oh, it's not gonna save it now. Wonder what's wrong with that picture there why I won't save. Hold on, let me try something else.
Okay, let's go. Let's just go to it. Let's go to it.
All right, there you go right
there. So when I do the mirrors, she look like my auntie Pam.
Okay.
Right? Pam flips Matt backwards. My auntie Pam have a daughter named Donna.
Okay.
Right? So Auntie Pam, it flips the map to match the Black Madonna off of a witch's brew on the knock to a knockback. Right?
Okay.
So her daughter Donna's favorite color is green, which is my mama's favorite color.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Right? On the blue house knock to a red house knockback, the color that drapes the green represents my mama's favorite color over the red, which is my mama's home lodge, which is the red house, which is the house of the blood right.
Okay.
Right? So for other people, it doesn't mean what it means for me personally. But remember, we just turning the key on the Vatican to show you how the seats have been moved.
Okay.
Right? So if Mother Khadijah is Donna's mother, and Donna's mother for me had the map, then Donna Farrakhan's mother must be on the map.
Go ahead.
On the comparative analysis on a singularity closing in on a hometown flip.
Okay.
Right? So once we establish that we know who the four winds are, or the four kings, that's the four kingdoms.
Go ahead.
We know who is the opener of the way on the crooked man walking across the land. We know who returns with the mother plane, right?
Go ahead.
The mother plane is the mother's P lane, and the P lane is the pussy lane, and the pussy is the cat. And the cat is the black cat, and the black cat is the Black Panther.
Go ahead.
And the Black Panther is the symbol for the priests at war when they go into stealth mode. But the symbols represent the blackbird on what we call the African house, the African crow. The African crow is represented as the blackbird returning from the crossroads.
Okay.
So type in, go to the crow, type in quotes. Go to quotes to the Google, type in crow quotes. Because at the end of the day, it got to take us back to who is God. Mother behind it. You can either read it there or you can go to a fancy picture of it.
All right. Hey, that's dropping it right there.
So
You know
Eric, look, Eric Draven, right? Now look at the name. Eric in Akkadian is Uruk. It means fire. The D is the fourth letter, but it represents a loaf in Kemet. This would be a D, would be a loaf of bread, right? And then you got Raven. Raven represents the bird. So the bird coming in on the 4. The 4 is the 4-corner shuffle, which is the 4 winds. And the 4 winds is setting the world on fire.
Go ahead.
And Mother is the name for God on the lips and hearts of all children.
Boom. It's like that bomb effect right then.
Do you understand? Morphine is bad for you. Your daughter is out there on the streets waiting for you. Quote the motherfucking Raven.
Oh, yeah.
So even the one that comes back for the Sibyls, see it?
Yeah.
With the black crow, right? From the African side, they come over here, and these sisters came out of a different house. You got the mama bear, right? You got the mama of the pumas, which we would call a Afeni Shakur, which would be a Black Panther, a chief in stealth.
Go ahead.
Right? So all of these mothers get together to restore the matriarchy in order to protect the children for the next 7 generations. So now you understand how we got to where we was. So the 7 is the 7th son, which would be me, the 7th seed of the 7th seed of the 7th seed, off a 5%er, Rakim Allah, born with 3 7s in my head. The one can seem to blow your mind as far as this, to find you need philosophers and anthropologists, professors and scholars from the smartest colleges and all of that shit. I had to get a couple of them in there.
Yeah, hey, bars. You know what I'm saying? This is knock on. Hey, this is the knock on the north gate, man. This is the knock on the north gate right here.
Okay, so now
I'm straight.
Now we know that the zodiac seat center is Big Mama's seat, and that the 12 sisters is the Sibyls. Now, what we don't know about the Sibyls is why they call them that. The term schizophrenia comes from the Sibyls. The Sibyls were synced telepathically one with another, all with the Divine Mother. Right? And once they are all synced, they are on the same psychic network to pass information instantly from their region of the world. And that's what it was called too, Isis magic. It's the magic of the sisters, what we call the birthright to the earth rights, which is the rituals of the birth priestesses, the rituals of the yoni priestesses to maintain the vaginal health of the planet, which is also female. Right? In some cultures, we describe things in reverse or upside down, and that's where they deceived us because they had us thinking south was down and north was up, never knowing that the ice princess comes from the underworld. And the underworld is the land of ice, and the land of ice is called the Northland. Right? And the Northland is the land of the ice princess, which is the Isis of the pole, the North Pole. You see? And these are the 8 points that makes up the house of Isis, meaning the 8 points of study. They give you 8 points of study in order to raise people up using matriarchal rules that was usurped. Right? So, from when you understand how to read the stellar clock and the earth clock, then you know how to understand the movement of the people in order to locate you who you're looking for. And there's always a clue. Because in your life, your book of life got clues, like Hansel and Gretel breadcrumbs.
Mm-hmm.
You know you left them for yourself, but you don't remember where you left them until you get to them. And for some odd reason, you have to pay attention. Right? So the great work, the Magna Carta, is the orders of the Magna Mater, and the Magna Mater is the home house of the Great Mother, Big Mama house. Over here, type in Iroquois Longhouse. Over here, Big Mama's house was called the Longhouse, or the Big Mama's house, and it was the biggest house on the property. Commonly became known as the Longhouse under the transitional tribes forming up the Iroquois. Most of these names, like Iroquois, is not a native name. That's French.
Right. We
weren't French until the Blackamoors brought French over as a language. Right? And the Longhouse was Big Mama's house. Right? Let's look and see if we can see what the inside look like, Elder.
Like a whole bunch
that
of people
first picture. Click that first picture right there. Yeah. So in our culture, when we used to have family gatherings, you had a men's quarters and a women's quarters. And then you had a private suite for couples to spend their time with each other if they married, away from the gathering. Now, over here in the Longhouse, when you see a Longhouse like this, this is a war barrack.
Okay.
Right? And the reason it's a war barrack is the layout. If it was a peacetime dweller, it wouldn't be laid laid out in this fashion, it would be laid out almost like a giant open loft house with furniture of different kind. This is all beds. This is all sleeping quarters.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the longhouse of war. Friendly pale faces penetrate. They start letting us into their institutions. They start sending our children to their children's educational systems with armed guard now. That's the people we sending in there, sending us the message back from the inside saying, hey, I got us a way in. Follow me. Go look at who marching with King. Mm-hmm. You ain't gonna get out of this without getting the same motherfuckers that kicked their ass out of Europe to help you. So why not use it to your advantage? They using them to block you out of the institution. Open Ellis Island up and run it over, fill this motherfucker with friendly pale faces. We want every derelict you got. But in the end of 100 years, they're going to be the ones at the top of society that's going to be able to tell us who's doing what behind the scenes. And this is where you get a Donald Trump from.
The disclosure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because we got to figure out how to get this information out to the chiefs on the land so one of us can figure out when do we exercise the blood right to reclaim the land. If we don't learn from what they're telling us, flipping it out of their secret by watching the movements, this is why we be losing, because we not very good at watching the long game because we ain't too good at watching the short game.
We're easily distracted, and it seems that they know that, because it seems like every week there's some new level of something that's kept capturing our attention. If it's and I'm not making mockery of it, but the Shanquella Robinson issue, before that, the Kyrie and the Kit and the Ye. So it's like every other week, there's a new something that captures our attention and takes us away from coming together. And because even those things that capture attention, there's debate. So it's not we're not unified in what we think we're seeing, or what if there's a message or what happened. So we're not working on unity. We're not working on restoration, because we don't need reparation. We need restoration. We need to be restored and made whole. We need to come together in order to do that. And it seems to me.
So this is why we tell our people to read the Indigenous Rights Act. The only way to overthrow that system is we have to go back to the system we had before they came.
True.
Which is an oral tradition. The mothers of the land they already starting, because they already sending me the messages that they reaching out to family members, discovering parts of their heritage they had never known before. And they found out what I said was right. We ain't come on no damn ships. We was already here.
True.
In a full bustling society. And they came and attacked us because they wanted what we had. But they didn't want our materials, because we use earthy shit. When we get ready to do a crown, Big Mama make you one out of feathers. We don't go smelt the gold into a crown. That's not the custom of the people from the Atlant, what we call the Americas. Mm-hmm. Our custom is everything we did, we tried to stay as close to nature as possible. So our royal garments is trinkets to the people from Europe, but they have royal significance to the people of the land, like the topaz. It's just a rock to them. It's a sacred stone to us.
Topaz, the stone topaz.
Yeah. Okay. It's a sacred stone for us. And a lot of the topaz copper jewelry traced back to tribes from the Southwest that was doing it for thousands of years. Those was the gifts they adorned their royalty with.
And I know in the Southwest they do a lot with turquoise.
And turquoise as well. Another sacred stone.
Yeah. Wow. So it's a whole it's been a whole conspiracy to destroy, like you said, our history, our reference to our whole genealogical past. They've rewritten it. They've interjected themselves in places that they were not. I even learned or heard that they had even added maybe 290 some, and I heard anywhere from 2-something to 500 some years into the timeline when they started messing with the calendars in order to find a place to interject their various empires when, they were, the Roman Empire and I guess they're looking for the revived Roman Empire. That's what they think they're ready to do.
The Roman Empire been the Catholic Church the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
The Catholic Church controlled the Crown of England, which was tied to the business district of Switzerland. Banking, international bankers. They used pale faces over there to hide the black nobility. The ones behind it that looked like us, that thought they got away until their ass got caught. They never nobody in a million years would have thought we'd figure out that they was using pale faces to block us out so they can claim to be us at the end. Right? We supposed to get mad, go on a bloody rampage, and kill all the pale people.
Oh, okay.
Right? So they won't stand next to us and say, kill Whitey, kill Whitey. And then when we get our shit, they gonna take it all and murder us. Because that's their oath. That's the oath of allegiance to themselves over anything that got to do with us. All these oaths are out in the open. It's not secret. I've been showing them on other shows so people will know that this is actually documented.
I've heard them talk about black nobility in other platforms, but they try to say in those platforms that when they show who's a part of this elitist group, they still don't look like us. They're saying black as not in the skin color, but black in maybe in the deed or in their, because they're doing dark, behind the scenes stuff, but they don't have.
They got the faces of the royal families called the black nobility on the family crests.
I always see them, on the cameos and so forth. You see
they try to tell us as part of the white supremacist narrative that those was the slave traders.
Why would you put
the family that was the slaves that the family owned?
So why would you pick how would you pick one slave to be on your, on your crest? Why would you do that? And that's the more prominent is that
right. So now you have to go research the art. When you go over there, you will find they got giant statues of Moors eating babies, literally. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's King of all kings right there. He the one made the alliance with Larry to create the Black Gangster Disciple Nation. It wasn't never supposed to turn out to be us versus us. It was supposed to be us against the machine.
Wow. Wow.
So King David was told the secret by the Jews because he was offering security to the fake Jews to protect them from the mafia, Irish mafia and Italian mafia in Chicago. So they wasn't allowed to come in our neighborhoods, but they could do whatever they want in theirs. Right? That's what segregation was all about.
Wow.
We didn't know we could go in their shit. That's why they didn't want us there. They wasn't allowed to come in our shit without our permission. We fought for integration, which ended up making us have to. Now the system say you can go wherever you want to go, disregard who you want to disregard, disrespect who you want to disrespect, and we gonna bag you up on that fuckery.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy.
Right? So what's going on right now? These is the ones who we sending in to get our shit back.
Okay.
Now, remember, Go back to the Salem witch hunts, and it was a big mama teach the little pale girls yoni magic.
Mhm.
Right? So, oh, go to that ballroom dancing. See that?
Yep.
So the dancing instructions is the same.
Mhm.
All that shit came from us. We invented ballroom, square dance, bop. All that shit come from us. Foxtrot. All them is, and all of these dances you see being done on the land is what you call ritual maintenance. Preserve the rituals in the common culture, so that the people from the original of oldest of times will always recognize the culture because they created it.
The salsa, all that. Yep. Shata. So
somebody said that they confused because the children of these people was already on reservations. You got to go back and recheck the story. They came over and was taught, but the adults that came with them, they didn't have to be taught. The children had to be taught. All you have to teach the adults is you have to go rehearse how to tell stories until they learn how to tell the story. With the children is the ones who can embody the information that you download into them. That's why you don't see a lot of adults around those children at those schools. Go back to the picture, Elder.
I got you.
Find me an adult.
And one of them pictures.
Now, you know when we went to school, got our class pictures. It was our teacher was always in the picture. Who is the adult?
They ain't teaching the adult because it's the black. It's gonna show native adult nigga. That's what they gonna want to tell you. You know?
And most of these were taught by women. Women was teaching the dance classes.
Man, so hey, real quick question, man, because this right here, you just gave me some more pieces, Rod. So these, let me get
they ceremonial tribes. Anything that to overthrow this system, they gonna be the ones standing up because we too scared to do it. We don't believe in our power on the land, so we won't pool our resources. We're gonna fight against each other.
Okay.
All you got to do is show the children the path to victory, and they gonna push the adults out the side. So let's go on to some questions, Elder. If you got some questions you wanted to go over.
Oh yeah, I got you. So let me put this together. So they had to. This whole plan was to switch these people out with us, and they taught them how to be us. That's crazy.
No. Okay, so the slightest miss in the vision is this.
Okay.
They were going to replace us with them.
Go ahead.
But they was going to come over and they was going to be the indigenous people, but they was going to act like the white man.
Yeah.
So we the ones who's training them. Because we know that if we don't train them to imitate us, that we won't never be able to send nobody in to get our shit because our people not going to trust themselves.
Wow. Right.
And most of the leadership is just ceremonial leaders anyway. They're not even real leaders because they ain't most loved, most respected by nobody.
Wow. So hey, the first question I have for you, Rod, this right here, you just dropped a nuke on us right there. That's a nuke right there, man. You know, this right here piece right here, this is nail in the coffin right here, man.
Big Mama said, leave no stone unturned.
Oh yeah, you just turned over a big ass stone right there. You just made a big ass connection right there for me. Now you said you was talking about Jack Johnson, and how we was doing the phase of the fighting on the land, and you was talking about how the Jack Johnson really was the first dude that started getting. You had broke down his connection with us.
Yes. Okay. So look, when they came over here, they don't have no skills.
Okay.
Right now, remember they on a quest for one drop of blood.
Okay.
But in the quest for the one drop of blood, they got to develop into functional humans that can ascend. Yaku's grafted devil. They got to come up with their own ability to fight. When you look at now, you see how Jack Johnson fighting.
Yeah.
Okay, pull up Type in the Great White Hope versus Jack Johnson and watch how the white boy standing.
Yeah, I got that picture right here already up in there. Because I heard you say something about the Great White Hope. It should be right up in here. Is it up in there? Right here. I think this is it right here. Right here. Yeah, he's standing
like how he holding it. You see how he holding his fist with the fisticuffs? Put him up even. That's because they had to learn how to develop this science. He already know it.
Yeah.
Jack Johnson was the first one they allowed to fight because they thought that they had a champion. I think this guy name was it Jess Willard? Anyway, they thought that they had developed their skills enough to challenge a real fighter from our fight camps. He came from Ethiopia war colony.
Go ahead.
They came over here to deliver something called a pyramid secret to the non-ether. They had to deliver that over here. He was what you call the child of a priest. So they taught him the boxing secrets. That's why Jack Johnson was excelling everybody. Right? And but his father or his caretaker or whoever brought him over here used him for the cover story. Because we got the non-ether, the ether utopia connection through the Holy Pibby and through the sacred parchment scroll of black supremacy around the time he arrived. And that's Ethiopian doctrine. And that's going to tie us back to Haile Selassie. Now, the only thing we got to do is verify that Haile Selassie is not from bloodline of Israel. Because if we can prove that, then we can capture non-ether for the earthborn. That's science for saying that we can take the science and we can use it and apply it. Okay, so now we're talking root black science.
Okay.
The science of the black dot, Dr. Richard King, the science of melanin, Dr. Carol Byrne. Right? We're talking about social development of the mind of the children. Right? We got Haki Matabuti. We got Nathan, John, and Julia Hare. When we got Dr. Amos Wilson, Master of Masters in the psychological development of our children and understanding the problem. Once you understand the problem, you can get a solution. Dr. Neely Fuller, the United Independent Compensatory Code System for breaking the chains of white supremacy, is a direct affront to the 9 areas of people activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. And when you lay it all out, you understand that what we up against, we got to have a dog in every fight or we can't win. Right? So why did Clarence 13X leave the Nation of Islam? What was the conflict?
That's a good question. Go ahead.
Elijah sent him out, but it came out as a conflict because the chief never got to tell you really what to do. Once you understand the assignment, you do your part. Okay. Just do your part. You don't got to do everything because everybody got a part and we're going to work as a team. That's the critical part of warfare.
That's right.
Right? Once we realize what's going on, whatever they tell us to do, we just don't do that shit.
Okay.
Right? And whatever they tell us not to do, we might try to do that shit if it doesn't make sense why we shouldn't do it. That's called testing the system to see where it's strong and where it's weak. The general gonna read the moves, right? So when he come with the non-ether, Garvey bring it over for the Prince Hall Freemasons to set the Masons free. Right? That's why the UNIA is up, you mighty people, do what you will. We just brought you the science of the non-ether. With the science of the non-ether, you can unlock the highest consciousness, which is the non-ether gas forces of the ancestors that dwell in the soils of the earth. So we talking Mississippi red clay dirt. Look at my skin, Mississippi red clay dirt, right? Versus the pitch black dirt of the Nile. That's 2 different dirts.
Okay.
right? So when they developing and they learning their skills, they have to learn in steps until they can master the muscle movement. And sometimes it takes generations. Right. And just when they think Tommy Gunn was ready, Ray Mercer was mercilessly knocking his head into the ground. They thought they had another one.
Yeah, right.
The same as Jerry Cooney and Larry Holmes. They keep playing the same repeat. They finally got one. The Fury of Tyson came out as Tyson Fury. Right. And Deontay Wilder is relying on the one hitter quitter.
They
You can't rely on the one hitter quitter.
Go ahead.
Because if you only rely on the one punch man, then if you miss, you lost.
Yeah.
Right. So all these things is just putting together what we've been looking at culturally play out in the mainstream. Right. See, he don't hold his hands like those other fighters back then. That's how they used to hold their hands.
Like this, like Jack Johnson holding. He fight like orthodox. Well, yeah, I guess that'll be orthodox. Like he right.
Yep.
So like orthodox is like one of the oldest because most people right-handed. It's only like left-handed is like rare.
So the Israelis the first one to develop a functional martial art. If you go to Google and type in Krav Maga, this was developed by the Israeli Secret Service to try to combat other forms. It's spelled with a K. K-A-V space Magra. M-A-G-R-A.
I got you. Right here.
Yeah.
Wow. I ain't even never heard of this style.
Yeah, so they take this in. This goes to the combat sports. Because you gotta have these, you gotta develop them so they can ascend. You can't leave nobody behind. Mama said you can't throw nobody away like trash. Right? So it took time to develop a people into their own. They had to get leadership because they was at the bottom the whole time. Right? Because they came over as somebody else's servant. And we had to pay, the good had to pay with the bad. In order to get us all free, some of us had to go into voluntary servitude.
That's crazy.
In other words, we had to make a plea agreement.
That's what Big Mother Bear said, that some people went into slavery for us.
Yeah, that's what she's talking about.
Yeah.
It's the war. It's the war for the psyche, the mind of the people. As long as they don't believe who they is, they can't never they can't never redeem themselves. Everybody responsible for their own self first before you're responsible for the person next to you. Right. And once you understand that concept, you do the self work in order to make you better protection to the people next to you. This is OGT Rogers.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about. The Peace Stones, were they Bloods originally, or did they turn into Bloods when they got
Bloods formed before the Peace Stones knew that the Red House needed structure. He was sent by Angel Bay to go out to LA and help with the Red House in California. So this is how behind the scenes, these are the OGs that's building in the structure. All the tribes had to be in the position that if the structure is activated, everybody is supposed to know what their role is. Just by their structure. And the way theirs is it's an OG call.
Yeah, that's right.
If it ain't an OG call, then we ain't finna move on that. Right? Now if it's a triple OG call, now we listening.
Yeah, triple OG call.
Yeah, because now we got the real big homies in here.
3-star general.
That's the most respected of the most respected right there. Them the ones that the niggas you respect.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? This is what this all about. So T. Rogers, he was also associated with some of the elders in the Panther Party from varying parts of California.
Okay.
Right. And so he took the structure given to him by Angel Bay, but it got to be the structure that fit the tribe that they came from. So when Tookie created the Crips, the default was the Bloods was going to have to form.
Right.
Right. That's the default. That's so that just like the motherland got an army, the fatherland got an army. This Chief Malik Angel Bay, notice he got on Vice Lord colors. black over gold.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That means he's concealed by the orders of Big Mama.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But he holding on to his grip on his post. You see?
Mm-hmm.
Right over left.
Yeah, I see it.
Right? And his right hand over the left, that means the right hand is concealing the stone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. So all of these OGs right here, most of them probably not here no more.
Yeah, they was rocking the fez and the full beard like Hebrews.
Mm-hmm.
So they
right now at this point in the struggle, Angel Bay's still trying to find out what's going on the land.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, where he at right now? Where you that picture?
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It said that that's what I wanted to ask you too about this. Okay. It said it's right here in this document. They said that Ford is currently serving a 168-year prison sentence after being convicted of conspiracy and weapons charges in 1987 for a plot to commit attacks inside the U.S. in exchange for weapons and $2.5 million from Libya, ordering a murder in 1980. They probably framed him for that too, and a conviction for drug trafficking in 1932. So they say the main part I'm looking at is they tried to say this brother was gonna make some money from Libya for doing a terrorist attack in the United States.
Okay, so I don't know if you remember when this went down, but around the same time, Muammar Gaddafi offered Farrakhan $5 billion to give us economic aid for our community.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. government told Farrakhan that if he take it, he got to register as a foreign agent.
What?
The problem is if he registers as a foreign agent, then they're gonna come in and arrest him as an enemy combatant, and he's gonna end up right where Angel Bay at.
Same thing. Yep.
Yep. So they didn't let him. They blocked him from getting the money, but it's more than one way to skin the cat. So this $2.5 million had nothing to do. If you go back to the city of Chicago, got a grant for him. And he was feeding kids with the grant money.
Mm-hmm.
Mayor Jane Byrne, I think is her name, brought him the check over on the west side of Chicago, and they came in a caravan. They rolled in a motorcade to bring him the check, and they seen what he was doing with the money. This when he was in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Now remember, he don't know what's going on the land. He just know he trying to help his people from an adverse condition.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then when he got out of prison in the 70s, they had sent him in there on some old trumped up bullshit. But anyway, when he got out, he went into juvenile first.
Mm-hmm.
When he came out to juvenile, he was a grown man. By now, Big Mama gave him marching orders as soon as he hit the streets. His job, he is the highest authority of law on the land enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
He is the chief mufti of the land using the doctrine of Islamism.
Mm-hmm.
So if he is the chief mufti on the land, his job is to tear this bitch up if his people ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
Only his people left him hanging. He didn't leave them hanging. They left him hanging.
Man, wow. They got scared.
No, they just didn't know what to do. There wasn't enough thinkers in our community back then.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't even born during this time. So.
We had plenty of fighters, Elder.
Yeah.
But we didn't have a lot of thinkers. This is why the structure of the Nation of Islam, the structure for the Black Panthers became critical to teaching structure to the rest of the clans on the land.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we had to figure out how to restore and rebuild while they steady doing shit to us. They never stopped doing shit to us the whole time.
Setting us up the whole time.
They never stopped their COINTEL operations until they got finally shut down in 2019.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When Trump got on there. Yeah, Ford transferred to the newly opened ADX Florence Supermax prison, same prison as Larry Hoover and Baba. And you think that these niggas, all the same niggas that came out to Jeff Ford, came out to Larry and Baba. The same exact niggas, man. I'm telling you, bro. And he's still in prison right now for being framed and set up.
I hope he better not be still in there.
Who, Jeff Ford?
Yeah. We don't have to know he ain't in there, but he better not be still in there too. They ain't gonna tell us.
Yeah, and
they gonna tell us.
He can't be like, just like Bob and Larry Hoover, they really can't be in contact with nobody. Can't be in contact. You can't being under a no human contact order. They so scared of this dude, they don't want him to even fucking talk to nobody. Now that's crazy. They scared of this dude. That's really scary right there. They don't want this dude to even
Remember
talk.
what the New York police said about Malcolm, right? No one man should have that much power.
Yep. And if Malcolm wasn't so far ahead in the game to go finger him, then he probably would have been in this prison too with them, right alongside them. I'm telling you, man. Same niggas came out to Malcolm, came out to these niggas.
They was infiltrating us. See, that's how we knew that the war was in our community, was with somebody that looked like us.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you read Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, some of those settlements they talking about wasn't no pale faces there. Running shit. Who is these motherfuckers and why we can't see them?
That's right.
Tupac said it better than anybody. Tupac said it better than anybody I know. They say it's the white man I should fear, but it's my own kind doing all the killing here.
Hey, Buckley said, shout out Buckley. I think it said Delilah. That's how you say the first name, Delilah. Chief Rod, did you ever get a chance to talk with Dame Calloway?
No, but we will. He doing his work. I'm doing my work. I'm watching him. He probably watching me, but we know what we're doing.
Oh yeah, it's working. It's coming all together, baby. But you just gave me another piece, Rod. That piece, that Indian training school, boy, they ain't gonna play that on the news nowhere ever. I'm telling you, bro. That's the end. That's. Ooh, they scared when you put that piece out. I'm telling you. They was hoping we never figured that piece out right there, bro. I'm telling you.
Man, I told you they can't trick me.
That piece right there.
I know my people, man. I know my people. I know why we will and won't move on certain shit.
That shit right there and like now. Because I got into an argument with some $5 Indians, and I was telling them, some of y'all mixed with Asian. I'm looking at them; they look Asian looking, and I'm saying y'all mixed with Asian. And then they came to the reality eventually. But
well, a lot of the Shoshones, so you got the last name Shaw. That's short for Shoshone, right? And Shawnee. Those two tribes became the popular name Shaw. Too short. Old Mississippian off the Shoshone bloodline. So they marry Asians, a lot of Asians in their family as railroad workers.
Right.
So we got to know where everybody went. It's a trail. You just passed Angel Bay.
Yeah, Angel Bay. We talked about Angel Bay.
So
you say Tookie Raymond made a connection with the Blue House. Go ahead.
So this right here is a monumental feat in our community that two brothers put their egos aside and say, me and you, dog, we're gonna join and unite and figure this shit out together.
Wasn't no damn gang. We wasn't no gang. They turned us into gangs. We were tribal warriors.
A gang is a
yeah, right. That's right. But they made a negative connotation of gang. Criminal. They put criminal with the word.
Right, by putting it in the news and spinning it with every foul deed that went on.
Propaganda.
We caught them back in 91 during the so-called Rodney King riots. In the peace treaty, the police dressing up like gangbangers to start wars.
Wow.
It just so happened that we caught them and Swiss cheese their ass. That's how we found out.
Wow.
They was undercover police.
Wow.
And federal agents masquerading as us. So they got their ass handed to them by them boys in the street. They don't know the boys in the hood is always hard. Come talking that trash, we'll pull your car. Want nothing in life but to be legit. But don't quote me, boy, because I ain't said.
That's right. That's right.
So all of these things, all of these clans forming around their own independent, self-raised leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Chucky didn't declare himself the chief. He earned that title by interacting with other Crips.
Mm-hmm.
Expanding by his charisma and his influence over those who was nomads in the street,
mm-hmm.
forming clans. Once he understood what was going on the land, then they staged a Geronimo Pratt scene and accused him of murder.
Yep. The killer clowns. COINTEL. So like
those training schools was on the path of the Trail of Tears in varying locations.
Wow.
Somebody asked that question in the comments, Elder. They was like, where was they?
Yeah. The training school,
they was in varying locations. Yeah. So you can probably do a Google search to find out the locations of all of them, because there was a lot of them on the land. That's what when they was going to Indian training school, all of the sisters that's supposed to have been teaching our children, they forced them out of the church to teach for them at the Indian training school under the threat of death. So we use it to our advantage.
Wow. Man, what you saying makes so much sense about why Tookie and both of these brothers, both of these dudes have a certain type of last name that tie them back into a certain bloodline. Like both of these dudes.
Williams is one of the largest family clans on the land.
Yeah, I'm a Williams and a Washington. But both of these dudes.
Washington is a Washita. Williams is a sub clan.
Mm-hmm.
Old Mississippian bloodlines.
Mm-hmm. Tookie Williams actually from the same city, and Raymond. They both from Louisiana. Well, not Raymond, because Raymond dad moved there later. And then I could trace. Look, I'm kin to George Washington Carver. I found out through tracing my history. I'm kin to George Washington Carver. I'm talking about he like my great granddaddy first cousin, George Washington Carver. I'm gonna be showing all this stuff later on different tapes though, but I don't want to. But yeah, Tookie is my grandma's cousin, and then he's on my granddaddy's side. So the Washingtons and Williams are always married into each other. We always it's a lot of Washingtons and Williams that married into each other.
So out of the Midwest territory, the Browns, which was out of the Ohio, Indiana area, going into Illinois, the Browns was the largest clan.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So a lot of these family names was clan, and that's why Cleveland's mascot is Cleveland Browns.
Wow. Go ahead, Roy. Crackheads.
We got to keep our culture and everything moving on the land.
Wow.
Because we got to be able to reclaim it at the end of the close of the age. So now we want to know where the money gonna come from. It's called the national debit. It was the national debt for the corporation, but when we seized everything, it became the national debit.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to Google, Elder, type in that, how much is the national debt? This how much money they got that's available to rebuild on the land. That's liquid available.
Right now, the national debt says how much does the government pay the interest? No, I don't want to know that. I want to know what the national debt is. Hold on, let me try something real quick. How much is national debt now today? Try that. Okay, all right, it's $31.38 trillion.
Right. That's how much money right now that we have in a reserve currency. It's probably in crypto that's going to go back to the families. We're going to use the Small Business Administration to teach family banking setup so families can reclaim that what was rightfully theirs to begin with.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. So what do Trump play a part being that in 20, I don't even think he's going to make it, man, because I think they preparing for some. I got a lot of videos from people. I'm going to be talking about that later from these Humvees. One dude said he opened up the back of a trailer on a Walmart parking lot and they had a whole bunch of those robots in the back. And they had these Humvees out there. They moving all these Humvees to Walmarts. So maybe they know that we gonna, because that's involved with FEMA, right? So maybe they know that they finna have to get up out of here. It's over, and they gonna just leave us hanging. The banks and everything just gonna shut down. We gonna be they They gonna send us into hysteria if we don't know if we don't prepare for this, if we don't prepare for them to cut us off and leave us on our own. You know what I'm saying? With the money and all that. We don't need the money, but people gonna panic and it's gonna cause chaos for a little while until people calm down and realize we don't need money. We could just trade. Like you got corn, I got rice, let's trade. But niggas,
that's the barter system.
Yeah.
But see, the currency system, if it ain't anything that's not corrupt, it'll work. If you get the corrupt hands, the dirty hands out of the pot, then it'll run functional.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what financial system we gonna be on when it's done, but I know whatever it is, it's gonna be better than debt-based reserve currency, because that's what we under.
Yeah,
debt-based reserve currency.
Wow.
Monopoly money.
Yep, pretty much fiat. Yep. Yeah. But I tell you, every time Rod come on, this nigga drop some shit on some. That's why Nick, you could have dropped the mic on that Indian school piece. You could have dropped the mic and walk off stage after that. That was a wrap right there. I'm telling you, man. You could have just dropped the mic while that shit right there. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do with that. Oh man, you don't even know, man, what you just did with that. Oh man.
Yeah, I told you that, but you know that you probably don't remember, but one of our earlier joints together, we went over that information, where they came from.
Yeah, you did. In the $5.
The only thing is, I didn't show you where they was trained to pretend to be us at.
Mm-hmm. But that man, because I was wondering, I was thinking they was they was some of these people were our children. Some of them wasn't even our children. They just were trained to act like us. Wow, that's crazy. That's devastating. It's devastating. At the same time, it's good information. It's like a whole bunch of shit just going on in my mind just off knowing that one piece. That these motherfuckers went to, but you said, like you said, we actually trained them to preserve our shit.
Yeah, Nova Ali said, pull up Nova Ali quote, the one with the red circle around it.
Okay, let's see.
In the oral statements and prophecy, he said he was gonna make the it's in the folder.
Oh yeah, you showed it to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, yeah, the one with the red circle on it. Let me go to that. It's down here.
There you go.
Right here, this one right here.
Mm-mm.
Okay, it's not that one. It says the only thing that the word would surprise me if it's a more would do right. God damn, Nova Ali going hard on the most.
You see that red circle at the top?
Right here.
Yeah, that's it. See, this is good. When they be telling me I don't know what I'm talking about, I go pull something like this up. Number 45, that's the big gun.
This is done by when you view the colors, you say, how do they make me feel? Because when you understand how the colors make you feel, as your cortex broadens, you will see people just outside of your field of vision, and you'd be like, where the fuck that motherfucker come from? And when you look direct, you know they there, but you can't really see them. Yeah, that's the elders. But you will be able to perceive them when you tie your visual cortex to your emotion, because you can sense when somebody's close to you.
Okay.
Right? That's the same faculty you're developing when you study in Tantra.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The Qigong is teaching you how to work with energy, but more importantly, it's teaching you how to read the energy. In Qigong, you can't do Qigong healing if you can't sense the energy field in detail of the other person. All of these is our ancient sciences. That's all of that stuff that they talk about in India. India got one of the most expansive historical medical treatises on earth herbs. But we act like it's all folklore. It's just some made up shit they said to try to sound deep, like these Moors be doing.
you always coming at the Moors, Rod.
Only the dirty ones. I got mad love for the righteous Moors.
Indeed.
I could sit here and name righteous Moors for 5 hours straight without ever repeating the same one.
That's deep.
That's how many righteous Moors I know. Dirty Moors, I don't know that many. But the ones that's dirty, they some dirty motherfuckers.
So you was just talking about the eyes, Rod. Now I've heard people say, and it's funny, Dr. B Series was just talking about the eyes. Last night we was talking briefly about the eyes and how it's an instrument. Well, we're going to that later, but let me ask you this. I heard people say to protect your heart when you're around people. Yo, make sure you protect your heart. You know, that girl will break your heart, or that dude to break your heart, protect your heart. But I don't hear a lot of people say to protect your eyes. Now, if eyes are the windows to the soul, what's up with our eyes? Should we have more protection barriers? Is that why we should wear sunglasses? Or talk to me about the protection of our eyes.
Look, all the protection we need, we born with it. We just got to activate it. Right? Like, the only reason you got to protect your heart because you're born ignorant. If you was one of the wise ones, if you was born fully sentient, you ain't never got to worry about if you gonna get your heart broken. Now that ain't even an option.
You ever notice somebody looking at you and they're like trying to gaze in your eyes, like try to be a vampire? That ever happened to you?
Those sociopaths. I talked to serial killers in the joint, and some of them motherfuckers, there's nothing in there. I'm talking about a window to the soul. Their windows broke out.
An empty vessel.
Empty vessel. And all they can do is recite how many motherfuckers they killed and how they killed them. And most of them didn't get caught for most of the dirt they did. But when you look at them, you know they not like us. Right? Then you got the ones, big lip ass motherfuckers, always got a kind game to run on you. Come here, good brother. Let me holler at you for a minute. Don't good brother me. If you want all my motherfucking alarms to go off, call me good brother. When they come with that good brother shit, they come in with a kind game.
Oh man, come here. Oh man.
That mean they finna try to do something nefarious, and you gonna be the end up being the one holding the bag as victim or loser. It don't matter which one you gonna call it.
What was it you before that said talking about the eyes, the shape of the eyes mean you come from a different part of the galaxy? Was it you that said that? Talking about the different.
Dr. Carson eyes, unmistakably the eyes of his daddy. I mean, the eyes of Inky.
You talking about Billy Carson?
When you look in his eyes, just like you're looking straight at Inky, but he ain't Inky.
Shit.
He don't put enough Captain Kirk emotion in this shit. That's how you know he ain't Inky. Inky is passionate about everything he do. And the only thing he care about, good food, good pussy, and goddamn good wine. He don't care about nothing else.
Man. So would you consider Earth a spaceship? I've heard certain people say that. Would you consider this
I call it spaceship Earth all the time.
That's spaceship Earth. So instead of looking at them as planets, we should look at them as spaceships? Like this whole thing? Saturn.
You got to develop your perception. I call it spaceship Earth for the Wizard of Oz effect. Right. So the ISIS seat is the cockpit. The man behind the curtain is in little bitch ass. Right. So when I say it's spaceship Earth, I'm using that to remind me, not nobody else, that somebody hijacked Earth and we about to take this bitch back because that's the only thing I care about, so I can go about my business. I hate social media. I'm not a public type character, right? But this information is more critical than what the fuck I feel like.
What's the deal with Akhenaten? Who was Akhenaten? What was he about?
Akhenaten, that's because they cloned him, right? And they named him Barry del Sortoro. He's an Akhenaten clone. So the royal families got a hierarchy of rulership, right? Tut rule was next, and it wasn't supposed to be Tahuti rule for another like 2,000 years. They cloned to make the older royal brother override his son, which was Tut. Right? The boy king to Amen, right? The boy king was the heir. So when you hear Pac say, am I wrong to fight for what's mine? This is what he's talking about. When he tell you back for everything they owe, no longer oppressed, this is what he's talking about. This his shit. He's supposed to be the one telling y'all this shit right now, but he would have been dead for real And instead of extract it, had he started dropping what he needed to drop. So what did he do? They pulled the emergency alert system to planet Earth, right? So he was there. It's called the Million Man March. The reason why they had to do the Million Man March, because I'm not going to participate if you niggas not going to get together for something. Y'all got to just stand together one time for something, and I'll tear this bitch up till they give it to you. And nobody wasn't standing up. They all got an excuse. They all after their own bag. They ain't doing nothing for the community. Everybody doing it for selfish game. I don't want no bunch of motherfucking selfish, self-centered, entitled ass feel like they've got something coming to them. No, you don't. You got to earn your keep, or you don't need to be here. So when they had the Million Man March, that was a massive alarm system alert. That means that even the dirty Moors forgot what the fuck was going on. Even they got this shit wrote down on the logs in the motherfucking Masonic lodges. And still forgot how to undo the shit. Because they can't read their own fucking code. They got half the keys. They call it broken keys, missing keys. That's because they're not doing the proper due diligence in order to get to a part to close the motherfucking shit out. If you go back and listen to my first dialogue with Todd, she said, as soon as I seen you, I said, here, close it. I'm not here. I don't want none of this shit. If my sisters can't have what's rightfully theirs, I will tear this bitch up. But we brain banging now. And I want to tear some shit up. Right? But they said it ain't necessary. All I got to do is show them motherfuckers that my feathers whoop your feds. And I said, that's all I got to do? Call me the GOAT. Label me Baphomet. Classify me coming with the Lucifer lens. But as soon as y'all figure out what all that shit means, you be like, yep.
Let me get to this next question, Rod. When we die, our soul goes where?
Back to the source from which it came, meaning you go before the prime. Your soul is the energy of creation. First and foremost, you can't sell your soul. That shit is some in-lil bullshit. Can't nobody buy your soul, because if they did, they can't do nothing but give it to you. Your soul only fits you. It's not a motherfucking one-size-fit-all thing. Your soul is the sum total of who you are. So that's not some shit you can barter and trade, just like the earth. You can't sell earth. What kind of dumb shit is that? It was already here. It's gonna be here when you leave. Right? All of the chiefs know that. So when I hear somebody talking about buying land in America, I know they ain't from here. Anybody from America, that's the tribes, know that we operate by the great law. We don't follow man's law. So that's going to automatically make us an outlaw. Then you ask about Tut. About Akhenaten, ties back to the same thing. Right? So the outlaw lines are the lines of the kings and queens who was born from out of the direct royal family, and they all have an opportunity to take the test if they can develop the noble traits, the noble character. Right? That's what Noble Drew Ali name is telling you.
Who is Michelle? Because people asking about Michelle. If Obama was the clone of Akhenaten, who is Michelle Queen Ty?
I don't fuck with Michelle like that, dog. There's more than one Michelle. One of them ain't no fucking woman. And there's another one that's a woman. And she's the one that was trying to get those